Have you ever heard that it's always the mind, or trading is 80% mental and 20% only executions and skills, or a version of that basically, and which is actually true because in trading what's really important is how you think through a trade. That is actually the most important part in trading, that when you're looking at the charts, when you're looking at all the information, how do you actually process that information and only do what's actually right and what actually makes you money, or at least gives you the highest probability of making money in the stock market. And how do you also process the information, take in all the information and see for yourself that this information does not serve me or my trading, so completely ignore it or remove it or do not trade it. So trading is all about how do you think, right? So I wanted to make this video to explain to you my entire trading process from start to finish, basically. So I'll be walking you through an entire trading session of mine, what I did before the actual trading actually started for me, what I did and how I executed those positions, and what I basically ended the day doing, and everything in between basically. So, and throughout this video, what I really want you to focus on is how I was thinking through the trade, right? Because in trading, that is actually the most important part of how you actually see everything, perceive everything, and then think through it. And based on how you think correctly, how do you actually execute your position? But before I get to the screens and we get started with the video, if you're somebody who's new to this channel, welcome. My name is Shaun and I trade US equities. I've been trading the markets for over 8 years at this point, and for the first 6 years, I struggled a lot with my own trading journey before I achieved consistent profitability in my own trading. And on this channel, we talk all about how to trade US stocks and how to achieve consistent profitability in your own trading, or at least have a much easier time than I did with my own trading journey, right? So if you're interested in learning how to trade US stocks and becoming consistently profitable trader, consider hitting the like button and subscribing to this channel. And now, without further ado, let's actually get to the screens and get started.
Hey, so just after recording the whole video on the first go, I just realized that my audio wasn't recording. And that's the reason you probably see the very first part of this video to have like a little bit different kind of audio. And then this is me just attempting a second time to record the exact same video again with walking you guys through my trading process. Without making this video too long, the trade I wanted to go over as an example, helping you have more clarity with your own trading. This trade is called, basically it's a short trade that I took on a ticker symbol called GLW. What was happening is the market was a little bit weak on that day. And because of that, I was looking or more biased towards finding more short opportunities for that entire trading session. And even when I ran my scanners in the morning, I looked at all the stocks. Some were long opportunities, some were short opportunities, but I primarily wanted to focus on shorting opportunities because the overall market was weak. And if the market is going in a certain direction, 70 to 80% of the stocks are going to follow it. It's one of the loose conditions that I sort of like to follow in my own trading. So this is where I actually took a trade. So it was gapping down this stock, and this is around 124.80s or something. That's where I shorted this stock and targeted the next level of 117s something. So I just took out some profits, and even the screenshot is just pretty much of half a day because I was trading the open, and after the open and after my own trading was done, I was just pretty much not even there. I just took screenshots of my trade, logged my trades, and then I was just done for the day. I didn't want to stick around for no reason. So these were a few of the levels and few of the different scenarios I had mapped out. And I've already mentioned this, that I was primarily focused on looking for more shorting opportunities. And this was one of the shorting opportunities. And when I was planning my trade early in the morning and preparing for this trade, uh, before even trading, these are some of the levels that I just formed, right? And this is a 30-minute chart of the same thing. This is where I actually entered the trade, and this is where my stop losses were. And then this is pretty much on this 117s. This is where I just took my profits on the very first move of the open. 5-minute chart of the exact same thing, and these are the actual executions of mine where I entered this trade, took some profits over here, and that was it. Now, to help you explain, this is one of the things that I've just walked you through my trade, but I think what is really going to help you guys is going through the trade itself again and replaying this trade, because these things that I'm walking you guys through, drawing technical levels, I think a lot of traders end up having it or knowing it. And then the problem really arises for them when it comes to actual execution and executing their trades really well, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replay that same entire trading session and help you walk through every single bits and pieces of what was happening in my mind, what was I thinking, and how was I actually preparing myself, and how was I executing, and how was I managing the trades, and what was I actually thinking throughout the trade management process. And because that is where most traders end up losing money or hurting their own trading accounts. So I might just pause this video and draw these levels again that I just showed you, these exact same ones. And I'll just draw these levels over here and then get back to you. Okay, so I've just made or drawn like two single levels. Basically, I've just taken what my technical analysis was already on that day, and I didn't want to go and analyze the chart and do the same levels again. So basically, I've just taken this levels and just put it over there. And unfortunately, this software doesn't really give me the ability to just right click and type in the price number, and then just the level just goes automatically on its own. And I had to do a little bit wiggling with it just to manually drag and all that sort of stuff. So it was taking a lot more time. So the levels may not be exactly accurate. As you see, like it's basically 117 11 is the level, and I've made it over here 117.09. So it's a little bit off, but for this video, I think it should be more than enough. And I haven't really bothered to draw all the other levels because on that particular day, it just wasn't very important. So let's start off with the trade, and let's start off with pre-market, right? Because this is where I was actually planning for the trade, and I want to give you the whole process of how I was actually planning for the trade. So let's just play this thing, and this is what was actually happening on that day, right? So this at this time, this stock was actually really active, and that's how it ended up getting picked up by my scanners. And this is the time I started looking for like, why do I even want to trade this stock? And as I've already mentioned, that particular trading session, the market was looking a little bit weak for that day. So and why was it really weak for that day? Because market had been going sideways for a while, and then there was already like these rumors and talks going on of how AI bubble is just going to pop. So there was a lot of uncertainty or a little bit of fear in the market, which now if we fast forward to today, basically 1 or 2 weeks from now, from back then, that whole fear sort of seems to have been forgotten about by the market, and nobody's really paying attention. And we are just seeing an uptrending market right now again, which I think might be changing sometime soon. But that was the whole scenario with the market. And then this particular stock had released earnings. Now, even though their earnings had been really positive, or at least positive enough for the stock not to drop down, but what the company actually ended up doing is they lowered their guidance. And they were telling that in this next future, basically year, that we're not going to be making as much money. We might be making a little bit less money. And that you can understand like how that is a negative uh, perception, like negative news for the stock and for the big money players like hedge funds and large institutions and large investors, right? That would be perceived pretty negatively for this stock. So that is where the whole bearish move, that's the reason that this stock was actually gapping down. And I was also interested in shorting it. Now, the plan was pretty simple. When I was pretty much done with all my preparation, the stock had already reached like about 130s or something like that, right? So if I go around the open time or just before the open, this is where it actually makes a lot more sense for me to help you guys understand this one thing, right? So this is the 5-minute chart. And the plan was pretty simple. If it breaks below this level, I wanted to short it. And since it was already somewhere over here, that pretty much that trade had been missed by me. And the next plan was for me to, if we break below this 117s, that's where I would just look to target the next 115 would be the next key area. And that's where I would just short and look to target 115s if we broke below 117. Or the second scenario would be if we pull back all the way up to 125s, that's where I would look for another shorting opportunity and just target 117s. That was pretty much the plan, pretty get in, get out sort of thing. And when this was actually happening on my actual levels, right, this is what I really want you guys to pay attention to. Now, this is looking really good. And because it also looks like some sort of a setup being formed over here where you can actually enter short, right? But because there was a plan in place, these levels were very key for me in my own trading. I just completely ignored the trade because even though it could do all sorts of right things, but the very first or second step of my trade was like, these levels have to be met. I either execute my trades from this level or below this level. Anything in between, I'm really not even touching it. And this is where you have to sort of prepare yourself to not take unnecessary decisions in the market. And so that's where I was just waiting for it. And waiting is really important, guys. And after that, even if you look at this chart pattern, if I actually draw this thing visually, it would make a lot more sense. Now, if you have seen like a bear flag or something, that's a very typical common pattern that a lot of traders like to rely on. And the more reliable rules for a bear flag would be for the stock to actually make a sharp downward move, go sideways, and then maybe it breaks below, and then that's where the trader would actually take a short, right? But you see this may look like a ranging pattern to some traders, but it is a completely wrong pattern altogether. Even if you look at it from this angle, it looks like a very wrong sort of a triangle, right? And even if you perceive it like this is an opposite of what you actually want to see. That the stock dips below, takes a pullback, and then starts to go sideways. This is the opposite of what you want to see in a bear flag, right? So this is what was happening, and because of this, even though I had the planning to wait for the stock to actually break below 17s, this is where I started deciding that because the whole pattern and everything, how the price action is behaving and how the stock is actually behaving, this may be one of the things that I completely want to avoid. And this is where a little bit of screen time, this is a little bit of experience comes into picture. Because even if we would have ended up breaking below this level, which we did leak below over here, this would have massively ended up being like a fake out because of the whole thing that was happening before the actual reason to enter the stock, right? And this price action just told me that, maybe I should just stay away and wait for a pullback instead. And there was another 35 minutes of waiting I had to do, but after that it was um, ended up doing what I expected it to do, that this would actually ended up being fake out. And this did you see the volume also was increasing, and some sellers were actually getting involved in this stock. This is the 1 minute chart. And some people or some traders did end up getting faked out and maybe getting caught in that moment, right? But we just came about 116.84s, and you see this wick coming down, getting rejected. Second try, getting rejected. The candle couldn't close over here. Again, basically a rejection. And then we eventually started moving higher, right? And that's where I was just deciding, even if it breaks below this, I'm not really going to be bothered because of what I saw back over here, right? So, and even though I'm like, this video is about trading and actually executing the trades, and I'm actually focusing on waiting and not trading and all those sort of things, because this is how you actually make money. Not by executing trades, but waiting most of the time for the right moments to actually execute, and waiting for all the red signs that the stock is actually giving you. And you're just supposed to just stay, stay back basically. And this is what was happening. And finally, the stock starts moving higher. And now let's actually go down to the open time, because that is where the final opportunity to actually do something with the stock actually did arise, right? So if I just play it, right, even though VWAP, a lot of traders like to see this VWAP as a reason. If it rejects, if it bounces off a VWAP, and it's a good time for you to short or something like that. And even though you see some wicks, and I could have looked at the tape and all those things and judged like whether I need to be involved in this trade or not. But I simply didn't even waste my energy or my focused energy, right? Because my plan was just to wait for this level. And until then, like, I'm basically not even doing anything, right? And now finally, like if I would have actually traded short over here, I would have lost money, right? So also at the open, we see a lot of wild moves right at the open, where the stock does the opposite of what it was supposed to do or what you would have expected to do, things like that. But this is where we finally actually reach, like we are so close to the level, And that's where we want to start hawking the level 2 box in the tape and wait for the signs to actually, for the stock to actually show us like what we're doing, right? And even though our level is at like 125.30s or something, but 125 is a key number, so you can't really discount the fact, right? So like this would still be a valid shorting opportunities if opportunity if the stock actually did what we were expecting it to do, right? Now after this happens, now we simply look at the level 2 box, the tape, look at the price action, and also wait for a good setup for us to give us an opportunity where we can take a trade and also have a risk to reward ratio in our favor, right? And if you were actually somebody who was just looking for some sort of action in this video, I think you would have already been very disappointed, because throughout this video, I think I have just emphasized the fact of how important waiting is, and just basically we haven't done a lot of fun stuff. And that's how you really want to be mindful of as a trader, right? It's just about waiting. It's a waiting game, right? Now, coming back to the trade, I see this rejection happening, right? Some sort of support being held, like basically some buyers are supporting at the VWAP. The yellow level is the VWAP, but I still want to be really interested. I'm really interested. We went all the way to 125s. We got rejected, took a support. This is where I need to start hawking the trade and look for any good setups that is being formed. And since it's pre-market, or basically the first 15-20 minutes of the market open, I still want to be very mindful of the 1 minute chart, not so much as the 5 minute chart, because things move a little bit faster. And over here is what I want you to stop, right? Pause. Now, rejection, some sort of support buyers. And now this is where I really want to start paying attention to this level, right? This is where VWAP is being supported. And we sort of have like a little bit of hesitation over here. Like some buyers are supporting the 122s. And basically this is where I would just draw a level and wait for it to break out and really prove to me. And this is where I also want to start looking at the tape, right? And because I couldn't talk and draw the level, I had to just pause it so I could do two things. But yeah, now let's just wait. What happens? What's the tape showing us? Bids are a little bit good. Why is... Yeah, I've just adjusted this thing and made this a little bit wider so I can see the numbers on the offers as well. But earlier we had an offer over here which was like around 31s, 32s or something. That was a larger offer. So we are around 123.50s, 123s are being held over here. Some offers being there. 25, 30s, 23, anything big. We're going all the way back to, oh yeah, that's it. This is where we just enter. You see this? I just want to rewind this for a bit. All right. See the big numbers, right? We were at 122s, 30s, 40s, and immediately we dropped like $2 or $3, and that's where we want to just be quick and then just execute. Now, I think I ended up getting filled up like when the stock actually does take a pullback and then comes back a little bit, and then I ended up by luck on that particular day getting filled up slightly better prices. But right now, where I've just entered over here, and probably with my executions platform, I would have gotten filled maybe a little bit higher over here with the speed, without me like talking and just being executing with the hotkeys or something. But right now, I just got filled over here on this sort of replay platform. But let's just see. This is what happens. And once you have filled in, like just stop thinking about it. Just stop thinking about the stock and go look at the chart. What was actually the chart doing, and what was the area that you would want to just place your stop loss orders. And this is what I usually do, right? I mean, I would look at the chart, 125 key area, 125s or 8 is like where our initial level was. I'll just place in stop loss order right over here, like maybe 10 cents or something, because it's an expensive stock. If it was a cheaper stock, I would probably place a stop loss order around like 3 or 4 cents above. But because it's an expensive stock, and 10, 20 cents would be like no big move for this stock, I would just give it like around 127s plus like 10, 15 cents or something, and I'll just place my stop right over there, right? And this is what I would, like I actually did in the real time as well, but I want to walk you through, guys, this whole thing, right? And this is what it should you should be thinking as a trader, like look at the chart, place your stop, let it do its thing, right? Just forget about it, right? Stop monitoring, stop looking at the tape, and probably like just because you have just entered the trade, you might want to just pay attention to it a little bit more closer for a minute or two. And right now, what you see is like it's probably just going back, taking a pull back because it's broke out, retesting the breakout. It's doing its all sorts of things, and you just let it do its thing, right? Do not even waste your energy trying to look at what it's doing, what it's not doing, right? Right now, it's just playing around its thing, doing its thing. Just let it do its thing, right? And without making this video too long, but I really do want you guys to watch this trade. I'll speed it up, but watch this trade, experience the ups and downs, and experience yourself having being involved in this short position. Uh, 10, I think it's a little too fast for anybody to experience anything. So I'll put it at 5 speed. And yeah, just let it do its thing. Let's see what happens. Right now, a lot of traders would just see this move, get panicked out, get scared out of the market, or when they see like this stock doing its thing, maybe reaching break even points, that's where a lot of traders would end up like taking their profits early, or things of that nature. But when this is happening, all you have to do as a trader, remember your plan. This was the level you entered over here because of your thesis of bad guidance. You're only interested in looking for a short opportunity. You saw a breakout, you saw your levels being met, and now you're just waiting, letting it do its thing. And now you just want to be having your trade management rules. If it comes down, goes back up, takes a pullback, all you do is move your stop loss orders a little bit down, right? That's it. You don't mess around with the position so much. And you also keep an eye open that if the trade does something where it gives you an opportunity to add more size to your position, a valid reason for you to add more size, that's what you do. But other than that, you just simply wait. Just experience it, guys. This might make the video a little bit longer, but just experience the trade. What you would have done if you were actually involved in this position, if you had money on the line, what would you do? Like when this stock is actually taking a pullback, what would you do? Would you get panicked out? Would you get scared out? Would you want to jump in, add more size, or take your stop loss orders? What are you going to do? And right now, what I see over here is it's forming a small little this thing for traders who are quick on the decision. I think this is a good area for you to just start adding more size. And our targets are right around here. The previous low, basically, this is where we are targeting. And that's it. And all these wicks and ups and downs and all those things, or the P&L fluctuation, don't bother yourself with it. Like, remember what are your trade management rules and simply follow your rules. And I've also noticed that when you have these urges, first couple of seconds, if you just control yourself, those urges completely go away, and then you start becoming more disciplined as a trader, right? But we are so close to our targets, 117s. And I think, yeah, that's it. Cover it. Whatever. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, did this thing executed. But that was just so quick. So, I mean, yeah, quick trade, basically, that's what you can expect in most opening trades anyways. Like they tend to move a little bit faster. But you see how systematic the whole process was. Look at the market, look at what the stock was doing, build your thesis, do your technical analysis a bit more, and then just wait for the right setups and then follow your trade management rules. And that's it. And even those things, like, you know, I can already picture, like, I used to do these things when the stock would come down and give me a red size over here, like basically red on my floating P&L. I would get panicked out. Maybe when it comes back all the way to my entry prices, this is where I'll just start taking break-even profits. And a lot of beginner traders do these things, or when they see a pullback, they get scared of the market and then they completely toss their whole trade management rules, or sometimes they don't even have those well-defined rules. And if they do have those well-defined rules, they get panicked based on these things, right? But you just have to control those urges in the moment for a minute or two, and that's then your brain just stops fighting you after that, right? So basically, yeah, that's how simple trading becomes once you know everything beforehand before actually putting your money on the line, right?
Hey, so I hope this video was able to give you clarity. Because in trading, what I have actually found is, and including myself, when I was struggling in my own trading, and now that I help other traders as well with their own trading journey, that it's not so much about knowledge or information, because there's just so much knowledge and information out there already. But where the problem really lies is a trader's not fully understanding all that information and all that knowledge, and basically they lack clarity about that information that they already have, and which really leads them to making or doing doing all sorts of wrong things in their trading for months, and they're losing a lot of money in the process. And then they're realizing that, whatever I was doing, it doesn't work, or it's whatever I was doing is completely wrong, or I need to change something, I need to learn something new. And it just keeps them on this spiral of like, learning more, right? So hopefully you were able to gain some clarity from when we went through the whole trade session, and I broke down every single step and the importance of all those steps in that trade, basically, right? But hopefully, again, you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to like this video, subscribe to Shaun to see more. And if you are interested in learning how to trade and you just want to completely skip the whole trial and error phase and not lose any more thousands of your dollars and a lot of more months or years in the process, consider checking out the link in the description below about my mentorship program. Feel free to check it out. The link is in the description below. But hopefully, again, it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, guys. Cheers.